A couple days ago, I posted a video where I talk about Macy's Day Parade mishaps. That video did surprisingly well, got 120 views within the weekend it was posted, which is just phenomenal for my channel. It also got me 2 subscribers, so that's great too. Anyway, I was planning on continuing with it anyway, so let's start. From 1950 to 1996. Let's go. Starting where we left off in 1951, the fish balloon broke. Just popped, like all the other ones. Most of these just boiled down to them popping or something, if you can't tell. 2 years later, in 1953, a toy soldier balloon, which I just want to point this out. I mean, look at this guy. He has the definition of drip on him. Deflated in the warehouse overnight, and they decided, inflating 6 stories worth of a balloon is pretty hard to do, and you can't really do that in one day. So they just replaced it with the crocodile one they had around, and it just never was seen, never was used, except 1 year later. 2 years later, in 1955, fueled by the space race, the Macy's parade had a spaceman balloon, which looked like this, which looks nothing like the spacesuits we used 14 years later. I just wanted to bring that up. Didn't at all. 3 years later, in 1958, there was also a lot of problems. To start off with, the observer balloon, which you could have just seen a couple of minutes ago, blew off course. It almost caused the person in it to not exist anymore. I don't think I can say die on YouTube. Well, I just did, so I think it should be fine. Then also, in the same parade, the Sailor Man balloon did not pop or explode like all the other ones that we've talked about. It was just designed poorly. Let me explain. As you can see in this animation that I sloppily thrown together in 10 minutes, when water hits its hat, it goes off of it, like it runs off of it. Now compare it to what they did in 1957 with this hat. They did this. I guess they used less rubber for the hat to save money on it, because I believe there was a rubber shortage around the time. I don't know. But it basically just made a huge dog bowl. Now imagine what would happen if we reached hard winds and it blew over. It would dip tons upon tons of water on innocent passerby. And that's not good. And that's exactly what it did. 5 years later, in 1963, a Donald Duck balloon was actually stepped on by one of the people making it, and it popped. Now, this isn't like stepping on someone's foot in on a busy sidewalk. You can't really see that because it's only a few inches tall, 2 at max. But this float's foot was 4 foot tall. How do you accidentally step on it or kick it? It's about trying to kick basically a second grader. Yeah, you can probably do that to a baby by accident if you just are an awful person or have bad luck. But how do you just not see that? Was this guy blind or something? And you know what? Good job on Macy's, because it happened to go 8 years without a major incident, besides a few hiccups here that I'm not going to spend that much time talking on, like a Superman balloon pop before the parade started, but they can patch it up and all that. Nothing to really talk about. But in 1971, things got awful again, with 3 major accidents happening that year. Starting the day off, a Happy Dragon float got Franz Ferdinanded whilst inflating. But wait, there's more for some more inflation problems. A Smokey the Bear balloon didn't just get messed up in the head like with the former entry. The whole thing got ruined because they decided to put the inflation holes in different places, or just have one in it. So instead of you being able to disinflate something real quick and then inflate it back up again, they decided to put the whole thing in it. That's why you don't put all your eggs in one crate. And just in total, completely, due to heavy winds, they had to put all of them down, pre-planned, had to change everything up. 2 years later, sadly I have to reuse the same audio, or the same footage from the 1971, because the only thing I could find for the 73 one was completely ruined. But anyway, to have a play on the occasional just pop story, a Snoopy balloon was popped from an unknown source. This happened in 73, almost 50 years ago, and we still don't know what popped it. We don't know. It could be aliens or something. We don't know. Okay, guys, I don't know if you noticed, but basically I'm saying the same thing over and over again about balloon popping and such. So to make sure this video doesn't get repetitive, I'm just going to start talking about the more interesting cases, as I started to do in the first part and this part. So I just thought I'd bring that up in case you're like, well, we didn't talk about this one popping. That's why. I'm going to start talking about the more weirder ones now. You guys know what a Weeble is? Well, you probably played with one once in your life, but in case you don't, Weebles are like these egg-shaped toys that have weights at the bottom. So basically, you can mess around with them, like knock them down, they'll come back up. You've played with them probably once in your life. But anyway, they were a big deal. Like, they were the best-selling toy, I believe, in the mid-'70s. So that's why in 1976, Mattel had a Weebles float in the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. Now, this float was uneven with its pressure inside of it, and it exploded before the parade even started. You see, this one didn't pop. It was just genuine stupidity. No float or balloon incident happened 6 years later in 1982, but the entire parade was lost. You see, even though I might say I haven't been able to find footage of all of these parades, it's either in low quality or I just couldn't find it on YouTube. I'm pretty sure all the other ones are still existing somewhere because we have proof that they happened. But for the longest time, the 82 parade footage was gone. We didn't know where it was until someone just bought a whole large package of cassettes on eBay, VHSs on eBay, and found them and watched them and realized that, well, he found it. He found the 82 parade. But yeah, the thing was lost for 40 years. Ain't that weird, huh? In 1992, everyone's favorite host, the ABC Bouncing Balls, accidentally hit a street lamp. Now, I can understand you can do this with a big 60-foot float, but how do you do this with 8-foot tall bouncing balls? That's kind of a hard task to do, ain't it? I mean, how stupid do you have to be? Now, in both this part and the part before it, I never talked about any of these incidents harming someone. Yes, the Observer incident in 1958 caused someone major problems, but it didn't really traumatize them or physically harm them. But this one did harm someone. On the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade of 1993, a Sonic the Hedgehog balloon accidentally had one of its spikes fall off of it and hit a 10-year-old girl and an off-duty cop.
I read about did you say want